That's an old classic from a group, Swing Out Sister. I want to thank my brother Chris, aka Shabazz, for the uploads on the music and whatnot. He, like I say, he's our music director, so it just made me think about that song. I'm incorporating a lot of sound from England, a lot of stuff from a lot of experimental stuff from here, from America, because I don't like the average music, because this is not an average broadcast. This is a future broadcast, and then eventually we're going to come with our own type of music, our own type of artists, some heavy mental stuff. That's what I'm gonna call it, experimental stuff. That's what I'm gonna let you know right now. The music is gonna sound, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be hot. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be different. Just like this knowledge is different. This music is gonna be futuristic. Trust me, we got some stuff coming. In time. It's gonna be under, a record label. I'm gonna end up starting pretty soon. So if I'm taking things away, if I'm trying to subtract things, I have to replace them with something. You got a lot of people out here who they'll take away and they'll beat up on religion. They'll beat up on people's ways of doing things, people's ways of thinking. You can find it all day. You can find people being negative all day, beating up on people, how they beliefs, just everything. The doctrines they follow. But if you're gonna beat up on and take away from and try to subtract what it is people hold dear to them, people doctrines, you have to replace it with something better. I will never be a person who will sit up here and try to subtract something without trying to replace it with something better, something real. And that's what this broadcast is about tonight. Right? It's about the death of religion and the beginning of man's religion, I should say, and the beginning of God's intelligence. Because God's intelligence, Amen, the true and living God, whose true name is Amen, has always been coming here to this planet in forms of intelligence. However, like I said, man has chosen, based on his ignorance and his limited perception, a misunderstanding of the messages that have come. He's chosen to go it on his own and, just try to figure out things as he goes along and, basically uninspired, basically confusing things, basically mixing stuff up, basically causing confusion, making a mess of things. And God, Amen, the true and living God, Amen, not Allah, not Jesus, not Jehovah, but Amen, who begat men, an immortal being, who I refer to as the bright one, the solar intelligent being, who came or grew out of the black man, meaning out of the man of darkness to become a man of light. With this evolution, he had no intention of leaving confusion on the planet. That is man's ignorance and limited perception. Now, we are on a quest to connect ourselves mentally with Amen, as Amen beings, as that evolved people. Somebody asked me when I put that on the in the Facebook, where I said that God, the true and living God, Amen, was a bright man who evolved from an unknown black man. I think that's how I worded it. He evolved from an unknown black man. That the true and living God evolved as a bright man. And then somebody asked me, how is that possible? One, if I use this term loosely, some sister, she basically, went ape, and she just basically, I guess she didn't understand it, so she basically, got irate and start calling with saying BS. I let her be negative for a while, and I left her comments up there on my page for a reason. I did that to show you that when this intelligence comes through, when this confusion is starting to be lifted amongst the elect, and there is no more confusion, when fusion starts to take place, those who cannot fuse with this intelligence will start to lose their minds. They will start to flip their lid. They will start acting irrationally, illogically. And that's what's taking place. You saw that. I don't know how many people I had to delete off of my Facebook page who came on as friends, saw my posts and things like that, came on because they saw my post, but the minute they didn't understand something, they basically lost their minds, melted down, started insulting me, trying to insult what I do, trying to make it personal, talking about I'm lying to people, I'm making stuff up. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, what's my motivation? Money? What's my motivation for lying to people? Money? $5 a book, $5 a podcast? I don't think so. If I wanted to make really big books, and sell really big books, big information information books like a lot of people like with all the nonsense in it and talking around stuff and trying to be all heavy and deep and really digging you deep into a hole to nowhere, into a hole of ignorance, deeper. That's what they do with all that information that look like a damn phone book. You know, when you sitting up there reading and you figuring just because the guy is thick and dense, you figuring, oh, that got to be deep and heavy, right? And I said that the simplest things, the people who can simplify things are your truly intelligent people. The people that can simplify it in just layman terms, just straight up say what it is and not beating around the bush, because that was all meant to confuse people. The people who can do that, the people who can accomplish that, these are your true people who are in tune. They are in tune with a higher force. Why did I say they're in tune? Because, as I said, God does not deal with confusion. The true and living God doesn't deal with confusion. He deals with fusion, coming together and bringing things together. As a God of order, of course he deals with fusion, organization, order. Only a man or a man who is on a submental state or a woman who is on a submental state is going to bring about confusion. And that's what this sister did, along with a lot of other people that came and listened and whatnot. And they didn't like it. They didn't understand it. Like I said, I likened it unto the big oaf, the jock. You know, the guy who, you know, when he's trying to, you know, you say a tutor trying to tutor a big dumb jock. And because they don't understand math and science or whatever, chemistry, whatever the case, they don't understand it, it becomes BS to them. You know, because they don't understand it, because they stupid. They slow. And I'm not calling, like I said, I'm not insulting anybody. If you don't understand something, or if you're just ignorant about something, that doesn't make you stupid. It just means you don't know about something. However, once you know about it and it's explained to you logically, and you're just not trying to hear it because it's just not going into your head for some reason, because you're dense, because you basically a blockhead. You know, and you know, there's nothing really in there, you know, between your two ears to slow down the, you know, the intelligence that's being sent to you. There's nothing in there. It's just dense, and basically, everything on your memory disk is pretty much filled up, you know, with Islam, Christianity, whatever doctrine, whatever man-made confused doctrine you downloaded into your way of thinking is, you know, and you basically reached your limit. So everything to you after that is over that or beyond that is BS to you. No, we're not judging anything based on what you say. That's been a problem with black people for far too long. People in general, that we have listened to ignorant people, right? We've listened to ignorant people who basically gave a yay or nay to any form of intelligence that was independent, that did not come from books, did not come from somebody's religious doctrine, did not come from somebody's already thought out informative school of thought. So anything that came through that sounded remotely different, or, you know, they didn't even give it a chance. They shut it down, called it cult, called it some man-made stuff. But I'm like, where do you think all this other stuff come from? You calling something a cult, but what do you think? What is it you think that you're following? If you could call something a cult, then the Catholic Church is a cult. The Baptists are a cult. The Muslims are a cult, because they all follow a culture. Cult is short for culture. They all follow some teachings that have some, you know, history to them. So any, you know, or a certain way of doing things. So any teaching or doctrine that has a history to it, or a ritualistic form of practice, becomes a culture. A certain way of living things which they govern themselves by, it becomes some sort of ritualistic culture, or AKA a cult, right? A group of people following a certain doctrine or things like that. Why is one cult, so-called cult, better than the next so-called cult, right? God doesn't deal with cults. Never did. God doesn't deal with culture. God deals with intelligence. Why doesn't God deal with culture? Reason being is because God sending messages to man is always subject to evolve these messages. And if you get caught in a culture, if you get caught in a certain way of living and a certain way of perceiving things, and it becomes limited, then you can't receive any of the intelligence that's being sent. Because if somebody's sending something to you, if you're calling yourself an African all these years, and then some knowledge comes from you that is beyond Africa and beyond your way of thinking, then you're going to reject it. You're going to reject it. If you have some certain religious belief, I don't care if it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Taoism, or whatever you follow, metaphysics, whatever you believe in, and your memory card is basically filled up with that man-made information or man-made confusion, then your mind won't be empty to receive intelligence from on high, outside of this box or this limited perception that you've married to yourself, to these limited doctrines and man-made teachings. You're not going to be able to receive that, right? That's been our downfall as a people, as a so-called black people, as a people who've stood in the darkness, not moving into the light because we've married ourselves on to these limited perceptions of man, these doctrines that basically did nothing but cause confusion between us. Because why did it cause confusion? Because we're not together as a people. We're not together as a people. The things that keep us separate is religion, one of the biggest things. I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm an Israelite, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, I'm a this, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, I'm all these, I'm a Pentecostal. These things, all man-made confusion meant to keep us apart, and that was not the intention of the true and living God. It was meant to bring us together under his intelligence, under a man who would exude or bring in his intelligence into this atmosphere to lead his people into the future. But that has not been the case with religion. In religion, people have just been going in circles, repeating rituals over and over and over again, right? And going nowhere. People walking around, like I said, like they somewhere still 1,400 years ago, 5,000 years ago, dressing in costumes. You understand that? Dressing in costumes, ancient costumes, that they call in garbs and all this other nonsense. It's a costume because you don't put it on every day. You put it on when you choose to go out and you do this, that, and the third, and then you take it off and you go into the regular world, the modern day world, and you live your life. So it becomes a costume. The Jews, the Hasidic Jews, they wear they clothes every day. So that couldn't even call that a costume. That's their everyday dress. They don't put on a robe and stand on the street and teach and whatnot for about 2-3 hours. Then get it off and you back in the street and you just a regular person again. If you say you are about that, you got to wear that every day. Or else you just, like I said, it's just something that you're doing. It's just a pastime. It's a hobby. I got more respect for the Jews because the Hasidics and all them, because that's a way of life. They living like that. You can't be more realer than a people who living like that for real, who trying to live that way of life as a community. You can't be mad at that. But the people who sit up here and act one way, they put on this garb and all this other stuff, and they Israelites for 2 hours, 3 hours, or they Muslim for like 5%, whatever they are supposed to be. For when they feel like, when it's convenient for them, they take it right off, and they put it back on, and they take it off, and they put it back on. See, this is what this society wants. This society wants fake people. You can't even live up to your whole thing of really being a so-called culture here, because this society has a culture for you to follow as well. They crafted these so-called religions, right, so that you can take them on and take them off whenever you feel like it. You could be a Christian on Sunday when you choose to be, where it's not going to modify or alter your life, your everyday life. Just as you can be a Muslim and go to Friday Juma and make your prayers whenever you feel like it, and go make your prayer on Friday with the congregation of Muslims, and you could take your robe off and everything off, and you go back to regular work, or you could rock your little skull cap on your head when you feel like it. You understand? So you blend it in with the moderate. Or like I said, you could be you could be an Israelite. Like I said, you can do that for like a couple of hours, stay on the street, do all that stuff. All that stuff it works within this culture, within this paradigm. All of these religions were meant to work within this paradigm. So what does that do? It causes confusion. 1 minute you this, next minute you that. Or you an undercover guy and you this, or you got here it is, you're supposed to be an Israelite, but you got an American name. Or you're supposed to be a Muslim, but you got an American name. Black people, they famous for that. Or I don't know what the Christian, you supposed to be Christian, so you don't even have a Roman name or whatever that's supposed to come out of. So you basically following what it is, what fits into this American pop culture. Your religions can be inlaid into that because they're all based on confusion. They're all based on confusion. You understand? So man, when he's weaving lies and he's weaving things into a state of confusion, it's only possible for him to inlay more confusion. It's not a problem for him to do that. It's not a problem for him to, deal with it because none of it is of God's real, true intelligence anyway. It's all based on man's limited perception. It's all based on what man thinks or doesn't think. All based on the limited ways of thinking of man and the confusion that it's meant to cause. See? But tonight, we're going to attempt to put an end to that. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz, and this is State of Mental Radio. And tonight, the end of man's religion and the start of God's reality. Because God's reality is this. God only deals with the intelligent, those who are in tune, those who bypass the words or the teachings or the doctrines of man. Now people will say, oh, intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz, are you teaching a doctrine? Are you teaching something of man? Because are you coming with another religion? No, I am not. Absolutely not. I am not teaching a religion. All I've ever advocated and all I've ever taught, and I've always said this is not my teaching. This is knowledge that's coming through me, not from me. I'm not mixed up in the confusion. What I say basically is what comes through me. It not basically is what comes through me. I'm just an instrument. That's it. That's all I've ever said. People say, well, where you getting this knowledge from, brother? Where you getting this knowledge from? I said from God. And they're, I don't believe that. But then you don't believe in God then, right? Or did you got a problem with the fact that it's coming through, you can't see it coming through a black man or so-called black man. That's the problem. So, these are the same people who said prophets walked the earth and existed, and they came and they had these revelations of these visions of God, and God sent them messages to or revealed things to them, but they really believed that, right? That's easier to swallow. But me saying that in this day and time, that's wrong. What made them right and what makes me wrong? Because I'm actually sitting here talking to you on Blog Talk, because I'm sitting here doing a radio broadcast on that. So I can't be a real man receiving real messages from God, Amen. I can't be an Omni being or Amen being or one who was of that connection or of that force or that bloodline. I can't be. And you know the reason why, you already know the reason why our people say, so-called black people say, is because, what you trying to be special? You ain't no better than me. I ain't seeing it. That's really what it is. It ain't a family affair. What's the one to say? It's not a popularity contest. Why we not all receiving as a crew? See, because then that would cause confusion. Because people, God knows that people, based on their limited understanding and their ego and a lot of other things, will take a message that they receive and they will shape it the way they want to shape it. It takes a very special person to take a message or receive a message and give as it is given, with no confusion, with no ego. And that's how I give it. Sister said, sometimes I thought sister said to me on Facebook, she said, sometimes I think, when you give that message and you teaching and whatnot, and you talking about mental and things like that, I think you just being an a-hole and, and I think you just being, egotistical. That's how I first thought about you. I said, I don't know why. I said, first of all, I'm always just typing stuff. And, I said people take certain things, assume certain things because they see me typing in large caps. I said, I just like to type in caps. I'm not yelling at anybody. I'm not screaming at anybody. I don't have a problem with anybody. I just like to type in large caps. I don't like small caps, But people take that the wrong way because in this society they claim that typing in caps is considered yelling, which makes no sense because yelling is you hearing my voice and you actually hear me screaming at you. So how are you going to tell me I'm yelling at you and you can't hear anything? See how people do. How people just repeat anything, whatever they say in the society, whatever the so-called authority says about what typing in caps is. Y'all just repeat it, and y'all don't even think about what you're saying. You don't even think. That is a strike against you from God. First and foremost, God deals with thinkers. God deals with intelligent people, people who are in tune. Not book smart, not educated people. No. People who are in tune. People who've opened themselves up to be natural receivers. That's who God deals with, not people who are sitting around here trying to take certain things. Like I watch people do this on Facebook. They'll take the things I say, right, and they'll try to incorporate it into their Israelite teaching or their Nawapian teaching or their Egyptology teaching or their NOI or 5% teaching. And I told people I wish you'd stop doing that. Your Christianity, you want to try to incorporate that. It don't work. It does not go into those teachings because those teachings are before the millennium. This is new millennium teaching. So it's not going to fit. And the gap is starting to widen more and more. All those teachings I mentioned, all those previous religions and philosophies and ideologies and doctrines came before this new millennium, before the year 2000. And when the year 2000 came in, they said that was the end of the world. That was when God, Amen, started making his connection with the elect, with the Son of Man, one who would receive his intelligence on earth to share with his people going into the future. Brother said to me, he says, even though, you against Kemet and stuff like that. And I'm like, he put this on my post when I put the link up. He said, brother, I know you said you like a priest or something. I didn't read the whole thing, but he's like, you keeping it going, and that's good that you're trying to elevate the people. And he said, yeah, brother, you like a priest. And something like that. I'm trying to quote the brother, but I'm not totally getting it. But anyway, I'm saying that, it's not that I hate anything. I don't hate any certain teaching. It's not whether I like or hate anything. I said I'm just moving on. I'm like, how can you sit up here and keep talking about the same thing over and over again? I'm not a ritualistic person. That's not who I am. God doesn't deal with ritualistic people. The true and living God doesn't deal with ritualistic people. So all you people that's doing your prayers over and over again and banging your head on the floor and looking to the east, God is not dealing with you. No God is dealing with you. You understand? Some man told you that you had to do that. Some man who had to instill rituals and customs and whatnot, because that was a way to form and initiate a doctrine, to form a control. You understand? A teaching that has not changed in the last 1,400 to 5,000 or whatever these so-called teachings came has not changed. The words have not changed. Nothing has evolved. Does a true God work like that? Does that sound like the workings of a true God, a true omnipresent, omnipotent God? That he would not give you any intelligence to lead you into the future? That makes no sense whatsoever. That he would just leave you hanging with 1,400 years of old knowledge about a bunch of people in the desert? That makes absolutely no sense. Or the stories and parables of a mysterious man called Christ, supposedly, who walked around 5,000 years ago, but no updates, no new knowledge, not even from your men, all these men that was on the pulpit and teaching and all that. Where's their new knowledge coming from? Where's the new knowledge at? It can't be people just keep going into the same old book and keep reciting the same thing over and over again and trying to make it compatible with what's going on today. No. You have to have knowledge that's dealing with today to move people into the future. You have to have future knowledge to move people into the future. You can't keep going back in the book and trying to hide, because now that's starting to wear thin. You're starting to expose yourselves now. It talked about that in the book of Revelation, where it said, and I'm only quoting the book of Revelation because, as I said, the book of Revelation is a present-day book. I'm not quoting it because had it been, you'll never hear me quoting the other passages from the Bible, because they don't matter. Those are things that past. They're done. That was those people's lives. The book of Revelation is our life now, going into the future. So when I talk about the book of Revelation, it talked about these people who would be the heads of these churches, who would be causing confusion, and would say God, according to this guy John, said God had a problem with these people. Problem was that they were causing confusion, that they were altering the words. They were taking fragments and bits and pieces of the truth and meshing them with other things to get what they want. Because as I said, people on this submental level are here to cause confusion. They're not meant to receive advanced intelligence. They're not meant to lead people in a straight and narrow path. They're here to lead you in a circle. And that's what your rituals are. Your rituals are a circle knowledge. It's based in a spherical form of knowledge, a cipher. You get up, you pray, you go to work, you do this, you go to bed, and you come back to bed, and you get up and pray. Doesn't that sound like a circular life? God did not make men and women, the chosen men and women, to follow a circular pattern in life. He gave them a straight and narrow path to follow as his people, same path that he follows into the future. A continuous God sending continuous thoughts into the future or into this present state to further the intelligence of a people to move them into the future. Someone would come with God's intelligence to replace and pull the people who were chosen out of religion to move them forward into the future, to pull them out of these man-made doctrines like Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and all these confused doctrines, metaphysics, and everything else that our people are going through, these things that got us going in rotations to where we dizzy in a state of confusion, where we keep saying the same thing over and over again. God had to make intelligence with the people to move them forward, and that is happening today. Certain ones of our people are going to get it. Certain ones of our people won't get it. This is a reality. God works by sending intelligence to a chosen few. So when I refer to mentellect as knowledge or an intelligence that is only for those who are chosen, who are elected mentally to receive it, who have been extended continuously in their intelligence by God, that was meant to be. Those people were chosen as a bloodline. Same way as those people like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he tried to extend, or he was opened up purposely from birth to extend the knowledge of God to a certain level. But beyond what man had previously known, our people had previously known God to be, which was a mystery and a spook. He gave God presence as a man, right? Though he referred to this man as Allah and Fard and things like that, people take off the get away from the picture that he's presenting God as a walking, talking man. And that was important. Whether he saw Fard that way, which obviously he didn't see later, but like I went on to say, he didn't see that in the message of the black man. He talked about meeting God later, or being in his thing, or when God comes. So obviously he didn't see Fard as God later. He saw him maybe that way in the beginning, but he went through his own evolution, as I said, and he started receiving his own intelligence, right? So a man in power, a man who's in lead, or a premier person would start receiving first-hand knowledge, first-hand intelligence from a supreme being who is also leading a race of people, and he will teach his people. You understand? He will teach his people. He will teach the world the truth. And whether people want to accept it or not, God does not deal with religion at all. He allows men on a submental state to cause confusion and bring these fragmented bits of his intelligence, which becomes information when it goes to the hands of man. When man takes the intelligence of God, brings it on a submental state, and refines it or cuts it up and adds to it and causes confusion in it, which is why we got all these teachings where you got bits and pieces of the truth in Christianity, bits and pieces of the truth in Islam, fragments of the truth in the Israelite school. You got fragments of truth in the Egyptology. You got fragments of the truth in the metaphysics, bits and pieces, but they don't deal with the person who set these things in motion. That's where they cause confusion. That's where everything starts to get fragmented, because if you take the person who brought these things or engineered these things out of the equation, why he engineered these things, which they don't have the answer for anyway because they're not in tune with that person. If you take that person out of the equation, then it becomes fragmented truth. It becomes lies. Lies are fragmented truths. That's what lies are. Lies are nothing but fragmented truths, because there's no such thing as a lie. Everything that you can imagine, everything that you're opened up to receive is coming from some place. It doesn't come from you. It's generated from some place. or you're picking up on it in front of you someplace. But it's already in the air. So if it's in the air, then it's real. What happens is, like I said, people take pieces from over there and pieces from over here and pieces from over there, and they cause confusion. Like I said, fragmented truths end up becoming lies. Right? So for our people to get the true knowledge of God, Amen, raw and uncut, that would be only for the elect to receive. Like I said, the big misconception is that God's intelligence or God's knowledge is for everybody. It's not. It's not. That's another reason why man was given the authority to cause confusion amongst the people, to take fragmented truths, because God, in his infinite wisdom or his eternal wisdom, knew that man was too feeble-minded and woman was too feeble-minded to receive his full-on intelligence. He knew that. As one who is omnipresent, omnipotent, every place, all existing in all time frames and beyond the time frames and before the time frames, he knew that the minds of our people, just the minds of people, period, not just our people, the minds of the human animal, was not that much above that of the four-legged animal. He knew that their mind was not that far ahead. God had to speed up the intelligence of these people just to do minor things, just to be able to have minor capabilities and abilities. You understand? He had to speed up their intelligence. You know, your scientists talk about your Cro-Magnon man to this man to the Homo sapien and all these other things, all that, and he's like, how that happened so fast, and the jump and things like that. They were helped out. God helped them out. Future men, advanced men, helped them out. Men, celestial men, who you refer to as God, men who are not of this world, who are of a continuous state, helped them, aided in their evolution, altered their mental process or their mental procession, sped them up, because they were so far behind. If we depended on these people, we'd still be somewhere back in the Stone Age somewhere. If we was going based on the procession of man's natural intelligence, we'd still be like somewhere in the Stone Age. You can't argue that all this technology and things like that came from someplace else. It was generated into the minds of men. Men and women think of nothing. This sister, again, as I was saying, she kept talking about how, I'm my own God. You know, that's the favorite thing, because I was like, you just reading these Negroes. I'm my own God, and I think of my own stuff and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. You don't think of nothing. As I said, all images are generated into your head, whether mentally or submentally. They're all generated, and you're doing nothing but repeating what you're receiving. You're just a projector. That's it. You're just a walking, talking projector. Some things that you project are ignorant. Some things are intelligent. Majority of what people are projecting is ignorant. You understand? To be able to receive God's intelligence is necessary in this day and time, because we are moving into an advanced state. As the planet and things, like I said, starting to speed up, they're talking about the sun coming closer. All this stuff is happening. The world is going through a change. And men are being raised to God status, and women are being raised to God status amongst regular men. People claim they're ready for this, but a lot of people are not ready for this. A lot of people who even claim they're ready for this, not ready for this. I've been preparing myself. You got certain people, like I said, who too damn emotional. Got the emotions of women. You understand? Outbursts. These are things of man, woman, female, male. Not supreme beings, not Amen beings. Amen beings are emotionless. They're sentimental but emotionless. I'm going to do a broadcast on it and tell you the difference. Break it down all the way. Sentimental, meaning they remember things. They have a sentiment, they have a feeling, but the emotions are not unchecked. Right? They're not unchecked. They're not blots of outbursts, because that is a mental disorder. Those of you who are famous for doing these things, who blot out things, who are just unemotionally unchecked, who have certain ways about you, that is a mental disorder that you have to fix within yourself, that you have to control within yourself. That is not mastering mind over matter, because these unchecked emotions are of the material world. These material emotions are of these emotions are of the material world. Don't be so quick to say not you, because those are the people who say not me. Those are usually the people. They're the people that have emotional problems. You understand? They're the people that have the emotional problems. They're the people who can't control themselves. An almond being is always in control of himself. Even when he's projecting himself and it seems emotional, it's not. It's to bring about a certain desired effect. When people say to me, they say, brother, you seem like you being too emotional, you getting angry. I said, no, you want to make me emotional and angry and mad. You want to hope that I vibrate on that submental level, but I'm never mad, really, and I'm never emotional like that. That's not my thing. There was a time where I got like that because I allowed these submental ways of mankind to infect me, to infect and affect me, while I let myself go to that level. But I no longer do that because I recognize it for what it is. This is what happens when you come in tune or in contact with the intelligence of God. You start to see things magnified 100 times stronger. You get to see these people next to you and see that, what are these people about? They're under a magnifying glass. They just, their intentions are screaming to you, even though they're saying one thing, you're seeing something totally different. You're seeing what actually is. You're seeing the reality of who these people actually are, right? The people who hide behind these religions, right? They're not in line with God's reality. The reality of God is the real, right? They can't hide behind it. That's why, like I said, the majority of our people love these cultures and these religions and things like that, because in there you can hide. You can be whoever you want to be. You can project yourself as the righteous sister or the righteous brother. You can project yourself that way as the righteous person. But in all actuality, you're really not righteous at all. You're not right, and you're not just. You're not right, and you're not just in your actions, in your ways, and in your doings. There's nothing right or just about you. It's just you trying to play a character. It's you trying to be somebody or project something that you think we want to see, trying to fit in. But truth always exposes people, always. Truth always exposes people. Truth always comes and is brought because as a state of evolution goes, as God is evolving certain people, he's speeding up the intelligence of certain people, advancing the intelligence of certain people to receive this higher knowledge in the future, right? So that they can be that future bloodline that continues, those supernaturals that continue. All others have to fall by the wayside, right? They have to fall by the wayside. These religions have to fall by the wayside and have to be replaced with the reality of God's intelligence. That's because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. You don't have to like what I say, but you can't deny it. Because what do you have to give in place of it? That's my question. What do you have to give in the place of it? You can't give the fragmented teachings of man anymore. You can't give the rituals of man anymore. You can't give the rotation rituals of man anymore. Because man and woman are starting to wake up. As I said, the people who are coming in the state of mental, y'all the first class. You're the first generation of people who are born with their eyes open. You're seeing clearly, and you're going to see a lot more as this next generation comes. They're going to see a lot more. The children you're going to give birth to are going to see a lot more. You are the first class. You are the first risen. Though I talked about Elijah Muhammad and Dr. York and them, yeah, they played a part in the evolution. But even they themselves said they were opening the door for something else to come. They were the forerunners to something else. And the forerunners opened the door for that which was to come in the new millennium. A whole new teaching, a whole new doctrine, or a whole new intelligence would come. And it could not be converted into information. It could not be converted into religion. It cannot be converted into spirituality or rituals or special rituals. It cannot be converted. God's intelligence cannot be converted. It can only be received as higher intelligence to move people into the future. That's the whole point. It cannot be converted into information. People think, when I say, they say, oh, brother, where you get your information from? I told you, again, I am not reading from any books. I am not taking or reading any information or giving you secondhand information from a man, from a mortal man. I am receiving intelligence from the future, from future beings, omni beings, almond beings, continuous ones, eternal beings, those who are beyond this solar system. You don't have to accept it. I don't care whether you like it or not. I'm not here personally for those of the people who want that, who come to knock things, like I said, because keep in mind, as you, like a lot of you guys out here debunking Christianity, debunking Islam, debunking Egyptology, debunking Israelitism, debunking all of these religions and metaphysics, debunking all that, you're serving a purpose as well in the plan of God and the plan of Amen. You're serving a purpose. You're attempting, though you don't know it, you're attempting to make my job a lot easier. It's for you to deal with the, argue back and forth with these people, but you present a lot of good points. My point was not to tear these things apart, because they're going to be torn apart anyway. My point was to usher something new in, the knowledge of mentellect. That is for the mentally elect. I've been posting things on Facebook for the evolution of the people. This state of intelligence, right? This state of intelligence that has come in this day and time to advance the people, to attune them to an advanced way of thinking, would far outrun religion. Because religion was meant to guide a certain people, a confused people, to a certain point. All of these things, being that they were allowed to have fragments of the truth in them, was meant to civilize and structure and give people order to a certain point. We have outlived that point. We have run into a brick wall. So either we're going to keep running around in circles or keep running into a brick wall, or we're going to go past the brick wall. We're going to run through the brick wall or jump over the brick wall and keep it moving. That's what we're supposed to be doing as God's true people, not going in rotations and rituals, keep praying, keep fasting, keep giving charity, keep doing the same thing over and over again, keep going to the church, keep putting on our best Sunday suit and reading from old words. We're not going to keep doing that. God's people are not doing that. The people who follow men, they do that. The people who follow men in ignorance, they do that. They do those things because they serve man. They don't serve God. They serve man. And I said you're going to either serve God or you're going to serve man. But don't think you're not going to serve. Don't think you're not going to serve. For all you guys out here talk this I'm my own God nonsense, or you the black woman, I'm my own God, because that's popular. You're not your own anything. You were brought here to serve. Either you're going to serve mankind or you're going to serve God. That's how it works. You don't have any free will here. Who told you that? You exist in the world for a purpose, for a reason. You want to think that's so. If you got free will and free purpose and you can do whatever you want, don't pay your taxes. All right? Don't go to work. Stop working. See if you don't, see if you don't get thrown out of your house. See if you don't starve. Go in a bank and try to take money out. If you could do what you want, you're your own God. You ain't a God of nothing. You just got a big mouth and a big ego, and you're still a slave. I'd rather serve a higher purpose, receiving the intelligence of God, Amen, rather than to serve mankind. I'd rather live my life in tune with the knowledge of Amen, receiving the intelligence of Amen, the true and living God. Because as I said all the time, I answer to a higher authority. Reason why a lot of our people can't see that is because they don't. It's not me talking about another God or an invisible God. We don't do invisible gods here in the state of Mentel. The higher, the higher authority I answer to is my children, my grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren. They're here in the future already. They are the God race. You understand? I just started their evolution. My bloodline was to start their evolution. As I said, they're the God race. My bloodline forward, my nieces, my nephew, that's the God race. That's my bloodline. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that, he wanted to make sure he was amongst God in that day when God returned or God comes, he made sure he was here through his bloodline. That's, like I said, why he laid with a lot of sisters and whatnot and made children, because he wanted to make sure that his bloodline walked with God and the future, with the future people, with the future children, with the God race people. Not no spooks, not some unseen force. You understand? Not some man who don't look nothing like you, but a people of the future. That is your God race. People, when I say man grew, the bright man grew from the black man as God, that's what I mean. Future beings who grew, who were walking amongst the black men, the men in darkness and the women in darkness, and who were evolving, the people who always had that genetic, the people who always had that extended memory. The people who had that extended memory versus the people who moved in a circle all the time, who moved in a rotation. You understand? That was the point. That was the movement, to move people forward. People still missing that, not to move people in circles. That's the problem, like I said, that's lost on a lot of our people. People are moving in circles and they think it's natural. We have come to the end of all of these things that we had in the last millennium. I don't know how many times I got to say that, because as I'm placing new intelligence on the boards, or I'm placing new intelligence in the Supermen, Superwomen project, I said that's not my philosophy. I don't have a philosophy. I don't have an opinion. When I'm teaching mentellect comes through me like a lightning flash. I'm just a rod for the lightning flash of intelligence that comes through to be shared with an elect people in this day and time. A lot of people are not going to accept it. That's fine. That's fine. Those are the people who are of the black race. Those are the people who are in darkness, who are going to constantly be going in a rotation with Egyptology, Pan-Africanism, Islam, all of this stuff. They're going to keep going in rotation. They're going to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. Their memory card is filled. That's it. You are natural people who have burned out. There is no procession forward for you. Your bloodline will not receive this. Just as your religions will die out, so will you. Those of you who can't move forward will not move at all. You will not be able to continue in that rotation. You've already made your presence known in those realms of religion, and you will only exist as a memory. You only exist into the future, because these religions won't move into the future. So who will you be if you don't have these religions to follow, if you don't have these rituals? Who will you become? Who will you become? Will you walk around like mindless zombies? No. You will cease to exist because you become these rituals. You become that Christian. You become that person who's on his knees praying and doing the things you're doing in this society. You become that person. You become that Muslim who prays 5 times a day and puts your head on the floor and prays to the east. You become that person. You become that Israelite guy who read from the Torah and read from the Apocrypha and all these other books. You become that person. That's who you are, and that's who you register as and who you resonate as. So when that teaching is no longer applicable, when God decides to discontinue those teachings like he's doing gradually now, he will discontinue you. Same way you had people who were Sumerians, people who was following the Egyptology back then, who knew all the prayers and stuff like that. Notice when those people died out, their religions didn't continue. You had thousands of religions all over the East and things like that, which these religions came out of, your present day religions, but these people, you ain't gonna find you're not gonna find maybe 5 or 6 people, if any, still practicing those ancient religions thousands and thousands of years ago. I'm talking about before Islam, before Christianity, before Judaism. Now you got these people in these religions who call those people pagans. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. The people who are going to come on this higher knowledge is going to call you something else. Might not be pagans, but it'll be close to. It'll probably be something like idiots. Yeah, that just like you insulted those people and called them pagans, you're going to have the future people who are dealing with the knowledge and mental, like as they start to build up and they replenish their earth, they're going to call y'all idiots. You understand? Or something else insulting. Because they're going to look at you and laugh. They're going to be like, how could you worship something you can't see? How do you pray to the east? And they're going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. Like in Carrie, they're all going to laugh at you. Yeah. That's what they're going to call you. They're going to just like you call them pagans and people in the past who followed their religion, they believed in it. They're going to call the people in the future going to call you idiots for walking around with black marks on your head, banging your head on the ground, for pushing each other out the way and Mecca kissing a rock. That does sound kind of idiotic now, don't you think? Just a little. They're gonna call you idiots for standing on the corner wearing dirty robes and reading out of some old book, talking about some God coming back on a white horse or a damn chariot. They're gonna sit around here laughing at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. Because of how dumb that sounds. That's real. That's real. That's God's intelligence that's going to boost them forward. They're going to know more. They're going to know who God truly is because they're going to become those gods in flesh. They're going to become those living gods in the flesh. They're not going to be the people that's sitting around here in they're not going to be the people sitting around in confusion like you all. They're not going to be those people. They're going to be advanced in their thinking. They're going to be advanced in their intelligence. They're going to be sped up by God. That's what, like I said, when it said that they would receive they would receive God's name in their forehead, in their mind, in their third eye, in their intelligence. They're going to speed past Islam. They're going to speed past Christianity. They're going to speed past Judaism. And I'm the open door today for it. I am the first open door. I am the first begotten, born with my eyes fully open. 1970. The evolution. The countdown. The first of those who were mentally dead. The black race. The open door to the bright race, the ones who have that solar intelligence. These are the people who will bear the mark of Amen in their forehead as a new race of people. Don't matter if you don't accept it. You are of the black race if you don't. You are of the people who will move in continuous darkness until you die. You're not going to receive these shades of enlightenment, that limelight. We'll be right back. Some more new music from Swing Out Sister. This tune is called Certain Shades of Limelight. It's instrumental. I love it. No one's entitled to their opinion if you're going to come in and cause problems. Because 9 times out of 10 when people come in there, and this was for Systems on Fire, I think he left out of here, no one's entitled to their own opinion if you're coming in to cause problems. You're coming in to cause confusion and be negative. There's one way to say things and whatnot. First of all, talking about God and all these and breaking down all this other stuff like that, we know what God is, and I just use that because people understand God is a universal term or a national or international term for a supreme being or deity. Nobody needs to get into the whole thing of the supreme deity, image of God. Yeah, we know the definitions of it all, and we know the definition out of the book. We already know what all that is. We don't need you to do that. We don't need you to come in here and try to show how smart you are or aren't. You know what I mean? We don't need that. You know? Nobody needs you to come in here and show how smart you are or not, because there's always the Negroes who like to go out here and read these definitions and all these so-called educated people. They're the dumbest people on the damn planet. You understand? Because they have to stay read up. They use their so-called education or what they learn from the educational system, right, to try to show how smart they are. Because deep down they know they're not that bright at all. They don't have any natural intelligence. Everything with them, if you ask them a certain question, they got to go run into a book. No, I asked you what you logically think independently on your own based on the thoughts that you are receiving. That's what I'm asking you a question on. That's what determines who is intelligent versus those who are educated. Because you got a lot of educated fools. You got a lot of educated people out here who all talk and can't do anything, can't assist or aid their people in anything, which means they really have no intelligence. We're not opening the door for people like that. We're not opening the door for people to come in here and beat on their chest and talk about how educated they are. We don't need no more educated fools. We got enough of those. I don't want any of those people on this broadcast. If you're not going to come in here to add anything to what's being said, then leave. You got a lot, like you said, exactly, a lot of smart dummies. A lot of educated, basically a bunch of parrots. It don't take real smarts to repeat something out of a book. It takes true intelligence to fathom or be able to answer a question on your own without a book based on the intelligence that you're receiving. You understand? That's why I said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was an intelligent man. Malcolm X was an educated one. He was educated by books. He had a lot of book smarts. He knew how to speak properly. He knew all kinds of factual stuff, but he was no leader. He was no leader. He was too emotional. You understand? He didn't know when to hold them, when to fold them. He couldn't, he wasn't a leader. Elijah Muhammad was a leader. And that took intelligence. A man with third grade education. But people are listening to Elijah Muhammad, how he talked, and know that he wasn't well spoken. And like I said, they'll always assume that he was dumb or he didn't know anything, that Malcolm X was smarter. But that's our people. Because our people, they all flash. They look at people who are all flash and no substance. That's why black people are easily fooled, because they look at things all flash and no substance. That's how they can follow people like Rᴇʟɪឡɪ and them. All flash and no substance. A bunch of people in nice suits, beautiful books, big, beautiful houses of worship, all the flash, but no substance. That's why black people in the predicament they in today. That's why they ignorant as hell. That's why they in darkness. That's why they still following religion. Because they so busy looking at the numbers of people that are following religion, and they sitting up here because they not thinkers. They'll sit there and go, well, if it's a lot of people, then I guess it must be the truth. I guess, because that's the first thing people always ask about the state of mental. How many people you got? That tells me a lot that you're not that bright. When people ask me that, how many people in the state of mental, that tells me that you're not bright. Because that shows me that you're black. Somebody who's in the darkness. Because if you were really, and what I mean by that is, if you were really bright, a bright person, a bright man or a bright woman, you'd be coming into this or coming toward this intelligence based on the frequency that's being put out. You're not worried about nobody else. That's not your worry. You should be picking up on the frequency, and coming toward it based on that. If you are of God, if you are of those future beings, you should be picking up on that frequency and coming toward it. You shouldn't be worried about who the hell is here, how many people, because this ain't no damn social gathering. That's what that's telling me. You looking to socialize. Like I said, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with socializing with people, but that's your only purpose for being there. And you also showing me that you're a black person, one who is in darkness or in ignorance, because you got to go and look based on what everybody else is doing to know that you're doing the right thing, that you don't have any real intelligence. Because if you had any real intelligence, like I said, you would know that you belong here based on what's being generated, the images and what you're receiving in your head to be here. You would know that you belong. You wouldn't have to wait on somebody else to tell you or see a whole lot of people, because that's really the reason why people are following religions like Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and all these popular religions, because it's a lot of people. When you hear people, when you could turn on TV and see people in Mecca praying, or people all over the place praying this to the east, or you see Christians in the church praying, or you see the Israelites stand on the corner and whatnot, you see numbers of people, oh, this must be the right thing because you will follow it. But I said all the people who in the state of mental who come in, they leaders. Because they led themselves here. They let themselves be led here mentally. So they've already leaders who've joined the collective. You understand? They're leaders who've joined the collective. They're not ignorant followers who come in someplace because they see a bunch of people. Those are people whose God is a man. Their God is some mortal man with a doctrine, who has a lot of information, but no intelligence, no connection with God. That's why you don't see any changes in your life. You could bump your head on the floor for five times a day, pray to the east, and do all the things you want. But has it really changed anything in your life? You can sit up here and say, "Oh, I got some clarity from it. You know, I feel much better." But your life hasn't really changed. You still got problems. Your problems are still bigger. And you know, like I said, I'm not saying people don't have problems, but through the intelligence of God, you're supposed to be able to move past your problems. When you receive the intelligence of God, your problems become smaller based on the virtual fact that the picture has gotten bigger. As you receive the intelligence of God via this knowledge of intellect, the picture, your scope becomes bigger, because now you're looking at the bigger picture, knowing, and your problems become smaller till they become minuscule. Till the next thing you know, you're producing things, or certain things are turning up that you're willing mentally to solve them. So you're starting to knock out all the obstacles that prevent you from seeing the bigger picture, which is the future intelligence of God, which is moving you into the future, which is moving you forward, not keeping you stagnated and focused and fixated on problems that move in a limited rotation, or looking back at certain things in your life, certain obstacles you couldn't overcome. If you are truly receiving the intelligence of God, then you're going to start to soar past your problems, because your problems are going to become smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're going to eventually laugh at these things that were stumbling blocks. No, see, in religion, they keep you rotating into those problems. They keep you in a constant rotator state with these problems. You end up being like a damn rotisserie chicken, constantly going in a circle with this nonsense. You understand? People want to be treated like children. A lot of you people, especially you women, you follow religion because you want protection. You want to be treated like babies. You understand? You don't want to stand up in the real world. You don't want to understand that, you know, what toughens you, what makes you stronger, is dealing with real things and real people, not running and hiding. You understand? Standing up like a real woman, like a real man, that's what strengthens you and turns you into a God. God had to go through trials and tribulations to become God. Each bloodline, each family that's inlaid into that 144,000, they didn't get there just because they said, "Oh, I want to be down with the 144,000." It didn't work like that. They've been tried and tested and proven. Their bloodline was tried and tested and proven. And you people who got a problem with that, you people who don't see what I'm talking about, you're not of the bloodline. You're of the black race. You're of the dark ones. The ones who will go in perpetual darkness. That's what you are a part of. You're not of the bright race. And for you ignorant people who coming on here thinking I'm talking about some mulattoes or some color thing or some complexion, I'm not talking about any light-skinned people, any mulatto people. I'm talking about the same brown-skinned to beige-skinned people, dark brown people. I'm not talking about skin, but I'm talking about people who carry this solar intelligence, people who will carry this supernatural state of intelligence with them. These people who are the extra ones. The elect, the chosen ones. That's already dictated in your bloodline. Your bloodline has been tried and it has been proven. That's why you've been elected. That's why you were given the foresight. You were given the capability to listen to this message, whereas so many of our people have not. They'll listen to the same thing, and they won't know what to think. Either they'll hang up, or they'll get on the phone like systems on fire and start saying all kind of stupid nonsense that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. They start trying to talk about where the word God come from, and they want to come here and cause an argument because he's of the black race. He's of the ignorant. You can't hear, or I should say you can't, you're hearing what's coming out of my mouth, but you're not listening because you didn't come here to listen. You came here to hear and cause confusion. But that's what the human race does. They cause confusion. You understand? They cause confusion. Those people, like I said, who do these things and these rituals, and they get on their knees and they beg God, do you really think you're worthy to receive God's intelligence if you're constantly begging, if you got mental issues that you can't overcome? Do you think you're worthy to receive the intelligence of God if you can't overcome your little minuscule issues in the world? That means your attention is not on God. Your attention is not on becoming God. Your attention is not on being in tune with God. Your attention is on these people. You're just using God as a distraction to get away from these people. That's what you're using God as. That's what you're trying to tune into this intelligence to do. You're trying to use God as a distraction. You understand? You're not seeing God and this intelligence of God as the bigger picture to change your life. You running and you praying and you trying to be around these people and doing this or just even participating in these things of man shows that you're not in tune with God. You're off. You understand? You're off. Your peace, your true peace of mind comes when you are in tune mentally, receiving God's intelligence. That's when your true peace of mind comes. Because everything here is meant to be chaos. You're supposed to go through chaos. You were put in a chaotic world to strengthen your mind, to not be distracted from these things, to become God. Because how do you become God if it's handed to you? How do you evolve into God and not be put through trials and tribulations? You want to avoid the test rather than to pass the test. That's what you want to do. You want to avoid the test rather than to take the test, walk through the test, and pass the test. You want to avoid things, but that's the black man and your black woman. You always want to escape responsibility. These people were put here to give you hell. They were put here to bring hell. They were put here to cause confusion. It's your job to walk past them. That's like the person who says, I use dope because heroin is in my community. Now, yeah, they took you, grabbed you, and opened your arm up and made you shoot the heroin, and they stuck the needle in your arm. These things are put in place to cause confusion because you become stronger by walking past them. You understand? By not participating in the things that the black race or the human race is participating in. You come sitting up there tomorrow, oh, well, my friends, they smoking weed, they getting high, they getting drunk, they being homosexuals and lesbians, whatever the hell y'all doing, and then that's your excuse to go do it? Well, I'm saying, though, you know how the niggas say, well, I'm saying, though, they put this stuff in there, they ain't leave us no other choice. Really? How about you niggas just wanted to do crime? How about you just wanted to not be responsible and you took the easy way out? You not know God. Don't tell me you God if you sitting up here and you decide to pick up the gun and sell the drugs and be part of the problem. You didn't want to be part of the solution and show somebody a better way or the kids coming up behind you to make the neighborhood better. No, you wanted to be part of the problem. You decided to be part of the problem instead of part of the solution. See, God is the solution. Amen is the solution. The true and living God, Amen is the solution. Because as you're supposed to be the one, you're supposed to master the problem and be the master of the solution. Both. Not hide in a corner and be praying to somebody to help take away things. That's what weak people do. You understand that? That's what weak people do. People hide in corners. They don't deal with things in life. They don't make themselves stronger based on their trials and tribulations. Everything that comes into your life is meant to come to you, but if you raise yourself mentally, if you don't put yourself around these people, if you don't allow these people, because what makes me laugh when these people sit up here and tell me, oh, I pray for strength, I pray for this, but look at all the things you engage in. You praying because you're weak. You're weak. You're mentally weak and you need help. You want somebody to make you strong instead of you trying to make yourself stronger. You want somebody to lift the weights for you instead of you lifting the weights your damn self. You understand? You want somebody to do your work for you. God, take away my pain, take away my punishment. But nobody told you to lay down with that guy and get pregnant. Now, did it? You just did it because you was weak. Nobody told you to lay down with that chick. Nobody told you to go and commit some crime. Nobody told you to smoke that weed, get that, drink that liquor, shoot that dope. Nobody made you do that. You chose to do that because you was weak. But then you come to an omnipresent, omnipotent being and you ask him to make you strong, to give you some guidance. You knew what you did was wrong. You chose to do the wrong thing. So you sound like a hypocrite. You become a hypocrite. You are contributing to the problems in the world because you're not using your life to be a solution. You're not using your life as you're not trying to be a living example. You understand? You're not trying to be a living example to be a solution. You're not trying to be that living example. You want to blame somebody else for the problem. God is the reason. If I could pray, that's not going to work in this new world to come. That's not going to work. The reality is that God is dealing with intelligent people. That's the reality. God is dealing with intelligent people. That's the reality. He's not dealing with weak-minded people in this new day. He's not dealing with people who praying. He's not dealing with people who fasting. He's not dealing with ritualistic spiritual people. He's dealing with intelligent people who are in tune, who are becoming gods in his image and after his likeness, both men and women. Male gods, men gods, women gods. That's what he is raising. We are being raised into a future race. You understand? The atomic generation from amongst the subatomic generation. You understand that? That's the intelligence of God, the true knowledge of God. The strongest will survive who are intelligent, who are in tune to receive the reception of God, the true and living God. Amen. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. The problem in all these things is that it has made a people weak. It has made a people weak. You understand? It has made a people weak, and it has made them dependent on man-made rituals. It has made them weak on for man-made rituals. Hold on. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? The show is not over. I'm talking. Can everyone hear me? I'm still talking on the line, and people are hearing music. I'm still talking on the line. Can everyone hear me? I'm going to take a call. I'm taking a call. Oh, Reginald?
Hey, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, because people are saying in the chat room they can't hear me. I'm wondering why. They talking about they hearing music playing and stuff. I'm coming in clear.
There was a siren in the background, but that's it. That's all.
Oh yeah,
I heard. You're clear. You're clear.
Okay, let me.
Newman.
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on, brother. Let me just refresh this page, and I'm going to refresh the chat room page. So I think people, y'all got to stay up on everything. All right. Everybody has to stay up on everything because if you don't refresh your page, everybody that's listening out there here. But go ahead, I'm here with you, brother.
Yeah, man. I don't have nothing to say, bro. This shit's so vivid. You feel me? It's so vivid, and it's really, you're making it very elementary, or that's how I'm receiving it. It's just so simple, And man, I don't have shit to say tonight, bro. The shit is it's just so simple, bro. Now,
Well, that's how that's.
You're touching on a lot of things. You're touching on a lot of things, you know, and this shit is just real. Shit is just real. It's time out for all the bullshit, man. It just is. This shit, it's time to step up to reality, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm speechless tonight, bro. Cause you just, man, it ain't nothing to be said. It ain't nothing to be said tonight, bro. It's just too simple. You know, it is what it is, accept it or not. You know, those who don't accept it, it's not resonating to you. It ain't for you. You know, we said it before. You know, and at least we're getting less and less knucklehead. Have you noticed that, right?
They'll always come. They'll always come in. You know, they'll always You know, here goes systems on fire again. God is a European word. Here this guy comes back in there again. See, there you go, causing confusion. But you know, you know, obviously they're attracted for some reason just to come in and cause confusion where they hear fusion at. No, we already know what God is. We already know that. We know God is a European word. You understand? It's a German word from the word gut. We already know that. Why are you coming in here trying to cause confusion? Stop coming in here trying to be smart. Nobody's interested. We already know that already. You're not in slow company, systems on fire. I know you want attention. You understand? But you just can't listen because it's not for you. Go down the dial to black radio where you can go and spout off on how black God, the word God is. We only using it for this purpose because people understand that word. I told you, just keep your mouth shut, or go down to black radio, or start your own radio station. You could talk about how God is supreme and He is you keep coming back here to argue with people. You know, go get a life, go get a girl, go do something with yourself. Don't come in here and cause confusion. Either be quiet and listen, you understand, or get the hell out of here. We're not going to sit up here and go through this with you. People trying to listen, they trying to receive, and you're being a pain. You're being a distraction, but people are going to just ignore you. You know, people are going to ignore you, or we're just going to boot you out of here. Don't break up this fusion that's taking place. You're not going to be allowed to do that. Be like the flies on the wall. The guests were sitting in the chat room, being silent because you don't have anything to add. Nothing you're going to say is going to enlighten anyone. You're not in tune with anything. You're saying stuff that's been said already. We know God is a German word that means good. You understand? I'm 42 years old. I'm pretty sure I'm much older than you, and I know all that stuff already. Heard it to death. Nobody's interested. This is about the reception right now. We don't, in the intelligence of Amen, the true and living God. Amen, if you like it even a little better than God. It's not about your information. Nobody interested in you trying to be smart. All right? So.
They're less and less, though, Nubi. They're less and less.
Yeah. Systems. He'll learn his lesson. He has to listen a little while. He always comes out. We got to kick him out. We got to go through this ritual with him. So he comes in. He comes in. He makes a noise. He acts like a little. He acts out. And you got to put him out the class. You know how the teacher has to do the child. You got to put him out the class.
Yeah, send him to the principal's office.
Yeah, you gotta go to the principal's office. You gotta go down the block and go down the thing and listen to black radio or something like that, or conscious radio, or this ain't conscious radio. This ain't Black Power Pan African Hour. So just fall back. All right?
Hey, Noob. Your music director, that's Brother Shabazz, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he coming up with some SXXT.
Yeah, well, I actually came up with it, but Shabazz put it on there. He did the technical stuff. I came up with this stuff. Like I said, I give the credit to me and Shabazz. I ain't trying to hog it, but the brother put it on there. He's been very helpful. And I don't know how to do nothing. I'm not a technical guy. Shabazz, I give him all the credit for it. Brother Chris, he don't by the name Shabazz no more, but it's all good.
Oh, really?
Like I said. Yeah, he don't use it no more. He got to get it. We about to give him another. We're going to give him another moniker when he comes up here and, he gets entered into the state. He's going to get his own name, and that's going to be it. Brothers going to get their own name. They ain't going to have nobody else ever going to wear that name but them on the planet. So, all right?
All right. Hey, New, thanks a lot,
yeah.
brother. I'm listening, bro.
All right.
And, great show as usual, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you.
All right. 267, stay on the line. Don't hang up. We're going to play a little bit of music, and then we'll be right back. Okay? This is Q-Tip and Nora Jones called Life is Better. I kind of like this. So the first time I had heard it. We'll be right back. 267, stay on the line. I know you're from Philly. We'll get you.
Mute me.
All right, we're back. We're going to take another call. 267. 267, you're on the air. 267?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. It's been a little while since the last time I called your show.
Okay. Sister
and
from
let
Philly.
me tell you how some crazy stuff just happened to me. I mean, like I said, I'm spiritual. I really don't have anything against, Christianity or anybody who follow, that religion. But let me just tell you, I feel like they stoop to a whole new level in order to recruit Christians, because I'm thinking I'm sitting in on a meeting or something like that. We talk about love and relationships and healing. All of a sudden, somebody come out and start preaching about, God. The first thing I did was got up and ran.
You said you got up and ran?
I ran. I hauled ass.
Okay.
I got the hell out of there like it was a fire.
Okay. Well, what was it supposed to be, like some kind of religious get-together, a gathering or something?
Look, I read the fine print, and I didn't see not one thing about Jehovah, Jesus Christ, Moses, Virgin Mary. I didn't hear none of that, didn't see none of that. All I saw was refreshments at the end of class, and that's another reason why I went.
And get something to eat?
That and, talk about, relationships and failures and why you can't actually, hold a relationship. I thought we was going to be, like, talking about relationship issues.
Well, relationships, if you are dealing on a higher level and you say you're spiritual, then relationships should become easier to you.
Not the other ones. Then they tried to commit me to celibacy. Yeah, a good thing I did run out of there like it was a fire.
So then, you can't be a celibate person. No. I guess you ain't spiritual in that on that side of it. Huh?
I mean, you know what? The girl's got needs. I can't be celibate. I can't be celibate. Oh my God! I'm just thinking about celibate. I'm thinking about butter and high cholesterol and trans fats, mono fats. It's like clogging your arteries. Like if you stop having sex, you just stop living. Like I'm not gonna convert to being a nun. No way.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, you're only spiritual in certain areas. Because you got people who walk around, they've been celibate and stuff, like they're not having sex and they're not exploding, they're not dying, they not, none of that going on, they living their life.
Or they live in an imagination or figmination of somebody else's life. Like,
no, they fine. They enjoy. They seem happy. They enjoying themselves. They don't have the need like that. They're not going to explode or die if they don't lay down with somebody. That's a physical need that And myself, speaking for myself, I love the act myself, but there has to be some kind of mental connection somewhere before I do that. I have to, so I could be celibate for when it comes to being around stupid people. So I can be celibate for stupid women. I just,
that's
good. But I'm a magnet for intelligent women.
You know what? You are one in a million, because there are not a lot of men around here who actually like intelligent women, who are just women. They got to have everything. They got to have all the toppings. They got to have, all the extra stuff. And the last but least is intelligence. The last thing they can ever think about is intelligence. This girl got to look good. This girl got to act like she looked good. I mean, all this other, simple, irrelevant stuff. But it's just like...
Well, it's not irrelevant because it's physical. It's a physical want and a desire, so you can't say it's irrelevant because you have a physical want and desire as well.
That's irrelevant, though. That's why I'm just spiritual and not all, religious, and not all trying to, say, join our cult or you'll die. Like,
well, what does that really mean? What does it really mean when people say they're spiritual? What does that really mean?
That means my mind is open to the possibility of listening to some words from the Bible. Like, I'm not going to sit up there and be like, all right, I hate religion, or I hate religious people, don't come near me. I mean, if I hear something...
You just did it when you went to that
with,
meeting that you ain't like. You did it. You like you ran about there. You
because
sat
they
for
were
a
trying
second.
to convert me. The way it sounds, I didn't give you like all of it. Like the guy just kept talking about religious, and I was like, I'm good where I'm at spiritually. But he was like, but she doesn't understand. I think she's lost. I said, no, you didn't hear me. I'm good on the religious half. All I'm saying is I'm bored. I don't want to be a Christian, but they kept talking about it. And I'm looking at all three of these people who are talking about it, and I'm like, I gotta go. I can't stay here because you know what? They're trying to brainwash me. They're trying to. It was just like some trance. They kept on talking about it, and it was just like they kept trying to say I was lost, or they kept trying to say I was asking them for help. I'm like, no, I am not asking you for help.
So you just went up there to eat up their food and just basically that's what you went to go do. Go in and eat up their food.
Something like that. They eat up their food because I don't really drink the tap water where I'm from, so I was hoping to get a couple bottles of spring water and bounce. But all of that stuff, that extra stuff that's over there, like, nah, I'm good. I can't even understand half of the stuff I can't even translate half the stuff that's in the Bible. I can't even, first of all, I think I'm illiterate when it comes to reading the Bible because the words, they either misspelled, they printed them backwards, or the way you got to pronounce them, I'm like, what the?
Well, why would you think you go in someplace and you're gonna listen to something and people want to do something for free? But that, black people we do that. We think we're gonna get something for nothing. If you go to some place and they offering you free this and free that, obviously there's something there's a reason why they're doing it to lure you in.
I didn't know that though. They could at least offer a chicken dinner like the person in the chat room said. I probably would have listened. But it was just like bread and water. Like, are you serious? That's too much to ask for some cookies.
Well, I mean, you can't, like I said, you could, like I said, people not giving, black people got to stop thinking you're going to get something for nothing. That's the black mentality. We got to stop that. I never trust free anything. That's why I don't give away things for free. I might not charge. If I charge for certain things, I keep it reasonable, but I don't give away things for free because people tend not to trust it. Well, smart people ain't gonna trust nothing that's for free. People will give you free cheese. It means the cheese is inferior. They give you free food. That means something wrong with the food or something gonna come with it. But people never do nothing for no reason. Everything is done with an intent in mind.
See, now I can't hardly trust. Now this goes back to trust issues. Now open-minded.
Are you a trustworthy person? Who are you not to trust? Are you trustworthy?
Man, I'll never go back on my word. If I say I'm going to give you a free lunch, then you got it.
Okay, well, you got a free lunch, but a little extra came with it. That's all.
They
didn't lie to you. Did you eat?
Yeah. Actually, I did. I left with a nice little doggy bag.
Okay, well, there you go. You got your free lunch, and they didn't lie to you. You just got a little something extra. They feel like if they feed you, you could listen,
But they didn't have to word it like that. It was just so enticing. I'm thinking it was a meeting. I'm like, it's a meeting. I'm going to go. We're going to talk. I'm going to meet new friends. When I went there, everybody was dressed in cloak. It was dark. Candles was lit. I'm like, hold on, wait. I can't see. And I'm like, what the crap is this? But you know what? They did have, refreshments. And I got out of there early.
You went to go get your spirituality on someplace?
I hope so. I think I'm going to meditate. I'm going to meditate.
You went to go meditate and get your prayer on and whatnot and all that and get all right with God?
Prayer.
Yeah.
I think people pray, like, I don't know. I said this to my mom. Like, people only go to church when they're scared or guilty.
Yeah. Or they, like I said, people not ready for what God really is. It's too mind blowing. So people tend to want to make God what they want God to be instead of what God really is.
That's what I said. They don't understand God. To them, God is just the ego. It's like an imagination with them. It's something, what they thought of or they think of what God is. You're right. They truly don't know what it is. That's why I got the heck out of there. Like, They put too much emotion in religion. This is why I'm staying away from that religion. Like, yeah, I'm getting away from that. Like,
but you spiritual though.
But I don't put emotion. It's separate from that. Like, okay, let's say if I had a bad day and I just found out I had like a deadly STD. Like, all that I can throw all that aside when it comes to supporting people. Like, I don't say, oh, I'm dying. I'm gonna die of something deadly. My life is over. And then I start getting mad and take it out on people. Like, I'll think about that for several hours, but then I'll wake up and see there's a light at the end of the tunnel. What good can I do on the short time that I have, on this earth? I don't want to spend my time trying to recruit people and, make them, like, I don't want to spend time like telling them how, this is how I fell into God, or this is how I found God. I'm like, yeah, lady, yeah,
Yeah, but
long story short, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Well, would you ever think that maybe that's what they consider is their way of trying to make the world better? Because let's say, I'm not saying I agree with their message on God and this other religious stuff, but what I'm saying is by bringing about a group or a collective of people who are trying to do the right thing, they're trying to reduce the likelihood, in their way of people falling into getting STDs and things like that. Like, say, if you ever had gotten in that situation, they're trying to reduce the likelihood of that.
Let me tell you how these Christians are. They're rude. They're your regular people who talk crap in your face and behind your back. They collect information on you so they could talk about it during Sunday church. Yeah, and that girl got STD. She should have closed her legs. But God left her anyway. Like, I'm like, ill, and ill. No, and no. I will not. And it's just like crazy. It's like it doesn't even feel like, it's sacred. It doesn't even feel like, you've been cleansed or on my behalf. Like, I used to attend church, and I've seen the way these people carry themselves, and I don't want no part of it. The men and the women who are followers are just disgusting. They don't even come off as Christians to me. First of all, if somebody's in need, they don't help them. All they do is collect information and then direct them towards a public funding program or something. I'm like, yeah, so she pretty much vented on you and asked you for your support, and you did nothing. Oh, well, the welfare office open tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Well, the thing is, again, like I said, people, when you in that community or in that church and whatnot, people, a lot of times people are looking for people to give them a helping hand, and then after they get a helping hand or a free handout, which, like I said, is a problem with our people. They always want a helping hand or a free handout, and they don't want no judgment to come along with that. Expect with any kind of helping hand or free thing, so-called free thing you're going to get, expect some judgment with it. Expect people to tell you what they think and this, that, and the third, or just go help your damn self. Because beggars can't be choosers. Beggars can't be choosers. Well, that's not a problem. Beggars can't be that way. No, that's how it is. Beggars can't be choosers. You know what I'm saying? That's how things are. Beggars can't be choosers. You came there for that free meal. Wait a minute. You came there for that free meal. Expect to get that sermon. Expect it. You know what I mean? You just sit up there and listen to it. Take your medicine. You want that free meal, take your medicine. You know what I mean? That's how it go. That's why I don't take free meals. I'm not going to, because my sanity and what I'm receiving is more important than some food in my stomach. I'll go and get food elsewhere. I can feed myself. I don't need nobody to give me nothing.
It shouldn't be that way. I mean, Christians are so judgmental. They always claim, and especially somebody who's a bully in high school, especially somebody who wants to be a celebrity, especially somebody who wants to feel important and putting other people down. They always claim when they're either a doctor or, somebody who's in office, asks, what's your religion? Oh, I'm Christian. I'm like, yeah, I'm staying away from her.
Well, I mean, somebody will say to you one day, oh, she's spiritual, I'm staying away from her.
I'm like, good.
Okay, well, hey. That's just what it is, and I guess. But always keep in mind, like I said, people make God into what they, like I said, God is only for an elect few. Like I said, you might have to deal with the fact, because I've already dealt with that fact that the people who are going to really be dealing with the true intelligence of God, they're going to have to be people who pass judgment, and they're going to have to be governed by a strict law of conduct or code of conduct themselves, because God didn't get to become God or be God based on acting like everybody else. He had to act a step above everybody else. So if people are truly in tune with God, then you do as God does. You don't do as other people doing. That's why I said, if God ain't no Christian, God ain't no Muslim, God ain't no Israelite, God ain't no spirituality, all this other stuff, spiritualist, I'm not none of that. I'm what God is. That's how I do that. I'm whatever God is.
I think they got God and Santa Claus, crisscross, reverse. It's like a wish list to them. They pretty much put out their wants or what they wish God would be, and they confuse it. And this is why I'm like, you know what? This is why I don't attend black churches, because black people don't know how to act, especially black Christians. I just stay away from them because I just can't process them. I don't get them. I don't get why they are the way they are. They are so rude.
Well, I mean, like I said, they fed you. They wasn't that rude. They fed you.
Well, necessarily they didn't feed me. They gave me a snack. And they tricked me, though. I didn't know what I was going up in there with.
Yeah, well, you went in there, like I said, you're supposed to be spiritual. You're supposed to already know what's coming ahead of you. A spiritual person is in tune.
I'm spiritual, and you know what? And you're right, I had to pay for everything except for that snack. But everything up until tonight was paid for.
Okay, And if down the pipeline of your spirituality, God came to you and told you to stop having sex, you going to stop doing that?
Well, spirituality said stop having sex. Yeah, I'm going to stop
having
sex.
Who is spirituality?
My higher self said it's time to stop. It's time to stop now. Yeah, I think it was time to stop.
You ain't wore out enough. You ain't wore out enough yet, huh? You ain't wore out enough yet, huh?
That's the same thing I told the lady. I was like, I'm still got some fight left in me, girl. It's gonna be till I'm 60. Okay. I think I'll give it a rest at 60. That's old enough. When that toolbox is wore out, then you give it a rest, huh? Yep. Mhm.
Okay. That's been interesting. I gotta go, dear. I gotta answer these final questions. It's been a pleasure talking to you. You funny. What's your name?
It is Melissa.
Melissa, I think I know you called before and whatnot. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Melissa. You lightened up a very serious night. Thank you. I like your enthusiasm is infectious. I like it. Thank you very much. That was Melissa. Thank you for calling in, Melissa. I like Melissa. She's funny. Okay, let me answer these final questions before we get out of here. Right. Let me see. I should have been getting these questions ready. Melissa just had me on a roll. I had to listen to Melissa. She, like I said, she gave me some comic relief tonight. She's funny. You got some people you just you can't even really you just love they wit. Very good natured. What is God's reality? God's reality is intelligence. Straight intelligence coming to an elect people. That is the reality of God, turning people into gods on earth. That's the whole purpose of an elect people being here. I said on Facebook before, I said you got your people who carry a subatomic energy, and you got those people who carry an atomic energy or continuous energy. The majority of people here are just, bottom feeders, and they carry that subatomic energy just basically to give presence to the planet, because you need it above and a below. You need a balance. And, you're going to have people that receive on a higher level. So God's reality is the advancement of intelligent people who are going to come in tune with him, not people of religion. Does religion have anything to do with God's reality? Nothing at all. It has to do with man's perception or his limited perception. So Melissa was right about that. It's dealing with man's limited perception. Spirituality is y'all attempt at trying to make some sort of connection with God, but y'all still got a lot of ways in the world that y'all got to get back past, So working toward that. Why does mankind try to make it seem as though religion has anything to do with God? Because they know God is a powerful word and it's a powerful perception, and they know that by using God's name or using the threat or the presence of a supreme being, they can do a lot of dirt from that perception that they leave in your mind, that impression they put there. What are the signs of God's intelligence that man misses in religion? The sign of God's intelligence is new intelligence, advanced intelligence. God doesn't work in circles. Man does. God works in straight lines. God sends intelligence in straight lines. Man takes it and converts it to a circle and makes it information or religion. God always sends new intelligence to move man forward. Right? Why is the separation taking place now? Because we are at a point where we are raising mentally toward God, the elect ones, the chosen people. That bloodline is rising right now. Those who are of that bloodline are coming closer to God in their intelligence, and they're going to start receiving. Now, what kind of world and people will this produce in the future? This will produce a God race on the planet. You know, we couldn't even fathom at one point not being part of the human race, but now we're getting people who are acknowledging that we are not part of the human race, that we are part of a whole different procession or a whole different bloodline, a God race on earth. We are getting people acknowledging that right now. You know, we're getting people that can actually see that. You know, we're getting people that can actually feel that. You know, a lot of people can see, feel, or hear that, or listen to that. You know, it's not, it's not in their mindset. They can't receive that intelligence. So this is the evolution. This is the procession that we're parting away from. You know, we're moving away from this limited perception in religion. It has kept us ignorant and disconnected from the future race, the Omni race, the God race, the Amen beings, the immortal. This has kept us from becoming immortal beings on earth. We are supposed to be in that evolution, or that line of evolution, to becoming these immortal beings. All right? So that's it for the broadcast. Join me Wednesday. We're going to talk about the difference between sentiment and emotion. Okay? November 25th, State of Mentel Supermen, Superwomen Project in Brooklyn, New York City. Sister Dawn, Supernatural, put it up there, please. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarez. We're going to close with this music from Naked Music, which is Blue 6, Love Only One. I am, again, the intellectual Nuben Menkarez. This has been State of Mentel Radio. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can